For Sony Pictures Entertainment CEO Michael Lynton, who recently appeared at The Grill, an annual media event hosted by The Wrap, the company has slowly gotten back on its feet and learned valuable lessons along the way.
I think the studio right now is in remarkably good shape. I think they've actually managed, or we've managed to put it pretty much in the rearview mirror. What you see now in the wake of everything else out there is that we're all trying to adjust to this particular dynamic in terms of what we put in emails, how the press treats those emails once they're made available or once they're hacked and stolen and put out into the world. The part that people don't focus on, which was actually the most damaging to the studio, was, to your point, it brought us to our knees. You know, we couldn't function because of the damage that was done to the computers and the servers.
Sony was harshly criticized for its lack of proper cybersecurity, something Lynton feels was unfair.
I think there was a lot of misunderstanding. Leaving aside for a moment the emails and the controversy they created, particularly around the celebrity stuff, I think people didn't properly understand the nature of the attack and the degree of vulnerability anyone would have had. And so there was a lot of criticism about our security. There was a lot of criticism about whether or not we were adequately prepared. I think what we've seen subsequently is nobody is adequately prepared, certainly not when a sovereign comes after you.
So how did Lynton and Sony Pictures survive?
You get very, very focused on what needs to be done on a daily basis. And you sort of set it in days, you set it in weeks, and then months, and you don't pay attention to the noise. With all due respect, you don't pay attention to the press, and you focus on the people who you work with, because that's the most important thing. You focus on getting the business back up and running, and you hope, because you don't really know, that you get through it. And thankfully we did. So here we are.
On the subject of China's aggressive push into Hollywood, namely Dalian Wanda's active pursuit of acquiring a movie studio, Lynton says Sony Pictures is not for sale.
No, I don't think so. I don't think my parent company has any interest at all in selling the company. I don't really understand what the Chinese or Wanda strategy is in coming in and purchasing a studio, or Legendary for that matter. What I thought was the case, which hasn't proved itself out, but I think could prove itself out, is the Chinese have really determined that they would like to create movies that they can export to the rest of the world. And they would like to do it on an industrial basis. They would like to have studios that produce 20 movies a year, and many of them, and that they have a large enough domestic market that they can cover their costs just by distributing them in China, and that then when they go internationally, they can make a lot more money, the way we do in our business.
Yeah. Which could mean Chinese-made films just might get that global attention they so desire.
So you think that in 20 years from now, we'll be going to the theater and watching Chinese subtitled movies?
It's conceivable, yeah.
I said 20. That's too long, right? 10?
No. I don't know how long it'll take, but it's conceivable for sure.
That means that we'll still be going to the theater.
Right. We'll still be going to the theater.
And we'll be watching movies made in China.
And we'll be watching movies made in China.
Mei Lee, CCTV, Los Angeles.